Well, more on our top story now, the birth of the first child of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, a boy who's now third in line to the throne. Let's go live to Sky News reporter Siobhan Robbins. Thanks for speaking with us, Siobhan. I know it's just after 4 a.m. there, and we've seen pictures of people outside of Buckingham Palace and the hospital where you are. It must have been quite a party atmosphere there since that announcement in the afternoon.
It absolutely was. It has calmed down a little bit here. Understandably, as you said, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. But when that news finally broke at around 8:30 this evening, it was absolutely jubilant atmosphere here. Cheers went up when they heard, people shouted, "It's a boy." Someone presented this amazing 3-tiered cake and started singing happy birthday as well. And then we saw some of the theatre that surrounds those royal births. So we saw a press secretary rush out of these doors behind me, hand a piece of paper to a waiting car, which then drove off to Buckingham Palace for that official notice to be put up outside the palace, telling everyone that the new prince had been born.
Now, Prince William has spent the night at the hospital.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We were hoping that after we got that announcement at 8:30 that he might pop out and say hello and maybe say a few words. Of course, the baby was actually born around 4 hours before we all heard about it, but he's obviously decided to take the time to spend time with his new baby boy and his wife. We don't actually know when we're going to see them all. We know that Kate had a natural birth. She didn't have to have a caesarean section, which is obviously good news. So we're all crossing our fingers that they may make some appearance behind me today and then head off maybe back to Kensington Palace or even to Kate's parents in Berkshire.
Which would be, of course, quite reminiscent in looking back in history of the late Princess Diana when she had Prince William and appeared on those steps not that long after she had given birth to him.
Well, that's right. What we are interested in is if William comes out and says a few words on his own before. We know Charles did when he was born. But really, these decisions are down to the royal couple now, whether they'll come out together. They often do things as a pair. And also, the next big question is when we do finally see them, what is this little boy going to be called? Bookies here are taking best odds on names like George and James, very traditional ones. Understandably, ones like Elvis are at the bottom of the list, but the royals may wait a week, they may wait it to a day. Of course, when William's name was announced when he was born, it was a week, but when Charles' name was announced when he was born, they waited a month. So really, many of these decisions are down to the royal couple.
What about visitors to the hospital? Do we know if Prince Charles will, in fact, this is of course his first grandchild, will he be paying a visit to the hospital? And what of Kate's family?
Well, of course, we'd all love that, and I can guarantee that we've all got our eyes peeled. But if I'm honest, I'd be very surprised to see any royal visitors. We've heard statements from both the Queen and Charles saying they're absolutely delighted by the fact that they have got a new grandson and great-grandson. But the royals traditionally try to stay away from hospitals in order to let the people inside get on with their jobs and the people being cared for ensure that they get that care. They don't want to take the focus off that. We also know that Charles has engagements up in the north of England today, which he's going to fulfil, so I'd be very surprised to see him rushing down here. It's more likely that they'll visit them when they come out.
Siobhan Robbins, I do thank you very much for joining us at such an early hour, or perhaps it's late for you having had to stay up. Thank you very much for speaking to us on Newsday today. We appreciate it.